Many couples are in debt at the minute, whether that's credit card debts or loans and everything of the like. Now, the thing about being in debt is that debt already impacts you individually, but you can imagine the kind of impact that you can have when it's the two of you in your relationship. So today what we're going to do is just talk about some of the effects and impacts that debt has in your relationship, but also give you some ideas of what you can do to reduce the effect and the impact of debt in your relationship.
So I'd actually say one of the negative effects that comes with having debt is having increased stress and increased tension. The thing about debt is that I think you'd always look at your debts and then they just stress you out, if we're being honest, because you're thinking, oh my God, when am I going to get rid of that debt? How am I going to get rid of that debt? But then it can also cause tension in your relationship if, for example, the debt was accumulated by one person in the relationship and now you're both having to carry the sort of like the load of the debt, and it just causes tension in the relationship. Or if the debt was caused by the both of you, maybe you made a decision that you probably maybe now regret and you're like, oh my God, but why did we do that? That can cause tension in your relationship as well. And it's one of those things that if you're not careful, it can eat you up in the relationship, and it can come with so much drama and unnecessary stress, like we say, that you don't really need in your relationship. But what would you say one of the solutions to dealing with that is?
So if you do find yourself in this position, I would say first of all, just understand that the debt that you have is, there's no point pointing fingers essentially
Right,
in this
right.
scenario. Don't be saying it's your fault, it's my fault. It's the point is that now you are in this position, you just need to work together to pay off your debts. It's not a case of saying who's to blame, whose fault is it, XYZ. The second thing I would then say as well is to then aim to tackle your debts as a team.
Yeah.
So this will help to reduce the tension between the two of you, but actually now you're coming together to then deal with this problem, right? And by working together as a team, that reduces the stress and the tension between the two of you, because now you are, yes, the debt is there and the
Yeah.
debt may have shame and all sorts of things attached to it, but you're not letting that come in between the two of you now to then cause stress between the two of you.
And I like what you said there about accept that the debt is there. I think the struggle always with debt is the acceptance side of it. Because for a lot of people, it's like, it's there, but sometimes you just struggle to accept that, okay, it's happened now. How do we then deal with it moving forward, right? So you have to get to a point where you're like, okay, yes, I don't like this debt. Maybe it comes with shame. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's happened now. So as a team, what are we doing about it and how do we do it? The debt's not going away.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to deal with it one way or the other. And like you said, blaming each other and pointing fingers doesn't help. So accept it and come up with a solution for it.
Mm-hmm.
So another negative effect that comes with having debt is difficulty achieving your financial goals. So, for example, if you were thinking, okay, we're now in this relationship, one of the things that we want to do as a couple is
Mm-hmm.
buy a new home, for example, then you're finding yourself that actually we have this debt that we have to deal with and we'd like to deal with it before we buy the house. It may make it difficult for you to then start by buying the house before you've dealt with the debt. And I guess with other financial goals, it's not just buying a house. It could be like planning to go on holidays. It could be paying the debt off itself. And it may make it difficult because the debt's there. You're thinking, oh my goodness, how do we do these other things? Or how do we meet our financial goals that we set at the beginning of the year that we wanted to achieve? Because we've now got this thing or this elephant in the room that's just there. So, what would you say a solution for that could be?
The solution is to readjust in my mind. That's to readjust, your focus, your priorities, your
Right.
attention as far as your budget and your finances are concerned. So if you had, other plans to achieve a certain goal, but then over time you've got this debt that's built up and grown, and now you've got this big debt, staring at you in the face, then you have to recalibrate and reprioritize and say, right, let's put that other goals to the side or park it for now and then focus on getting rid of this debt.
Yeah.
That's the first solution, and that's one that I would take
Yeah.
personally. But you might be in a position where you're thinking to yourself, well, you might want to juggle both at the same
Right.
time, where you're saving up for this goal one over here, but you're also then using some other money to pay off your debts at the same time. There's no wrong or right, it's just what works for you. But the key then is that you then have this discussion between the two of you, and then you decide which route you're going to take that works for the both of you.
Absolutely. I like the idea of delayed gratification. So that's another thing which you've just explained actually, where you decide like, okay, so with all these plans to have fun, go on holiday, save up for this, save up for that. But if we park those to the side for now and then we deal with the debt, we can come back to that thing that we wanted. And a lot of I know a lot of financial influencers out there talk about delayed gratification. It is a good thing. Remember that when you're parking those things, you're not saying they will never happen. What you're actually just saying is, for now, let me focus on this one thing. That way, when I'm now having fun and now enjoying myself, I'm doing it with a free mind and not worrying about any debt that I've got.
One of the best things you can do in your relationship is to learn how to manage money together. But where do you begin? There are so many options. Should you have joint accounts? Should you combine all your finances or keep some of it separate? How should you approach this? Well, what we have done is put together a free couples budgeting guide that you can download today that will show you everything you need to learn to get started regarding budgeting together as a team.
That's right. So you can actually find the link in the description box, or you can go to skillfinances.com/free couples budget and it will be sent directly to your inbox. Another negative effect that comes with having debt is having limited room within your budget. So, for example, you've budgeted to pay off the debt, but then obviously when you have money that's going out to pay for your debts, that means that there's other things that you're probably not able to do. Maybe you're not able to do things like some of your hobbies, like go out and have fun or go on staycations and just do things that maybe just edify your relationship and just things that you can feel good about as a couple in your relationship. And unfortunately, this is another thing that can then negatively impact your relationship, because you're now thinking, oh my goodness, this debt now means we can't have fun. This debt means we can't do the things that we like to do. So what would you say a solution to dealing with that is?
Do you know what? This is a very tough one because, we're very big advocates of like making sure that you've got some money that you're going to put towards things like this, things like having fun, date nights, and all the rest of it. I would say that, understand that's unfortunate, the position that you're in. Debt is going to limit the room that you have in your budget. So I think for me, it comes up to what I said earlier about priorities. Prioritize paying off your debts, because this way, the more you can reduce the debts, the more room you're then creating for yourself in the future. The second thing I would also say is actually be a bit more creative when it comes to this fun activities.
Right.
Be more creative around how can you do them without necessarily spending too much or a lot of money. There's so many different ideas of things that you can do on a budget or even for free. And we can make a list of them, but fundamentally it's just be a bit more creative and think outside the box and think to yourself, okay, how can we still have the experiences that we love, spend time together, spend time with family, and just kind of enjoy ourselves without necessarily needing to spend a lot of money on that.
Yeah, and I think it also goes back to what I said before, which was, remember that the debt won't be there forever. You can't look at the thing and think, this is my life, this is it, this is my life for good. It's not. You will work on the debt and you'll feel good for it afterwards. After you've paid it off, you'll actually feel a lot better, because that stress, that tension, those worries that come with having debt will all go away once you've paid it off. Then you're free to fully enjoy having fun. Because I also think if you are then to prioritize having fun and working on your hobbies and things like that, you might still do those things, but at the back of your mind you're then still thinking, oh my god, that debt is still there, and you're still stressing out about it. So it then limits the amount of fun that you're able to have as well. So yeah, I like that one. That's a good thing to remember. It won't always be there.
Now there are so many other effects of debt when it comes to relationships, but these three should kind of give you an idea. And all we ask is that if you find yourself in this position and you tick one of the three boxes, if not all of them, then put a plan in place. Start taking the steps towards reducing the impact and the effect of debt in your relationship. You don't want debt to become the thing that separates you, or the thing that really causes a lot of tension between you and your partner. Don't let it do that.
Yeah.
So what is the one thing that you're going to take away from this video? We'd love to know. Let us know in the comments and tell us what's the one thing that you're going to start putting into practice in your relationship with your partner to reduce the effect of debt in your relationship. It's been a pleasure, and we'll talk soon.